Hey, everybody. We are streaming live. This is our first Technorama using StreamYard. Officially, we did some testing last week, but welcome to the pre-show. Craig and I are just making sure audio works. You know what I should probably also do is hit record on this right now so that I don't forget. Watch the recording running. Yes, the new mixer is recording to a USB stick, I think.
Do we?
It's flashing.
Do you know how that works now?
Well, it's not the starting that's the challenge, it's the ending. So stop, make sure the file's there, then pull it out. So
okay.
I think I pulled it a little too quickly, like it wasn't done saving. So we did a little bit of testing on that on Thursday, and it worked fine. So we have 2 viewers, 1 reaction. This is kind of fun. And if you were on our test the other night, we can get your chat comments right up onto the screen.
Yeah, so somebody speak up.
Speak up. Give us a test. We know you're out there. Couple of viewers. All right. All right. We can't see right away whether they are on YouTube or Facebook, but we are... this should make things a little smoother for us because I'm not trying to run a machine that's pushing live streams to YouTube and Facebook and run multiple cameras. And the only thing I miss is I don't get to use my Stream Deck, which is all the push buttons to go between the various titles. So that may be a little slower until they get hotkeys in StreamYard. We're using StreamYard.com, introduced to us by our good friend and podcaster, Crazy Joe Fiore over at Megapodtastic. Give him a bell for that. We still have sound effects that are working.
There you go. You got a comment up there.
There we go. Mike says, "Oh no, not again." Yes, technology changes. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm too drunk to rhyme right now. Oh, we're off to a zippy start, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so let me go back to Brand and turn off the comments there. So we'll just leave our little bug down there. And we can bring up those comments, put them away anytime we like. So excellent. I think we are ready to start.
All right.
Oh, wait, we didn't share on Facebook or anything.
Oh, good point.
Let's go to Facebook.
I was like, oh, I don't even have to have Facebook up. All right.
Well, yeah, I kind of do.
Yeah, you kind of do.
Let's see. Technorama Podcast. You are now pretending to be Technorama Podcast. No, I'm going to pretend to be me. And I am going to share to the public. And away we go. All right. Just to let people know it's out there. You may hear a little bit of tiny echo. We're working on that. Not sure what's going on, but we shall see. Okay. Well, the fact that I already hit record means I'm going to have to do a little bit of editing just to lop off that front end. But
all right, put that on the task list.
In podcasting, it's better to have more recording than not enough recording.
Yes. You know how many times we've actually re-recorded our show?
Out of 652, probably a dozen.
Yeah. It's probably not as bad as you think.
One out of every 50. Last week was just a real pile of stinky poo in a dumpster. And if you saw it on Facebook or YouTube, you're lucky because we didn't even release the audio. I was just getting so frustrated at machine locking up and halting and recording not working, and there was just too much going on. So
yeah,
I think we did not do that one with StreamYard because we just signed up yesterday as official members. So
yeah, no, it was a thought. It wasn't really a.
The other thing to note is we are broadcasting at 720p, which is their middle tier. So we're testing this out for a month to see if it suits our needs, if we want to upgrade, because upgrading is like twice the price, but we want to make sure that we invest our money wisely because it takes pretty much an entire episode of our Patreon money to fund StreamYard right now.
Well, it better be worth it. We'll see.
It better be worth it. And thank you to all our patrons. We will get to that part of the show in just a little bit. Let's see what John's got another comment up here. He says, "Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. So far, more than 3,376 days have passed without an accident. Paper cut. Never mind." Sort of like the trailer park that puts a sign out front.
Yeah, I think we reset the clock last. No. Yeah, we reset the clock last Monday.
17 days without a tornado.
Yeah.
Don't say reset the clock. That means something I'm mad at Dad. All righty, let's begin. The audio recording is rolling. We are streaming, so all I have to do is do a countdown and begin. 5, 4, 2, 3, orange lion, go. Technorama episode 652. Hold me closer, Tony Danza. Hey, welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If you are joining us for the first time, thank you very much. It is good to have you here. And if you are a returning viewer / listener, welcome back. We really, really appreciate it. I hope you've been out there spreading the gospel and telling everybody about the good news of Technorama.
That's right.
My name is Chuck Tomasi from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, and joining me as always is Kreg Stepp. How are you, Kreg?
I'm doing good. I'm glad things look like it's starting to gel here with all the changes.
We're never done. We're never done. We've been doing this for 16 plus years. We're in season 17, as I like to call it.
Yeah, you know,
we still haven't finished. You're never done tweaking the studio or the gear.
You know what's funny is look. Now I don't want to get on that way back when we started podcasting, of course, too much. But remember, just think of what we're doing now, right here.
Yeah,
trying to do the same thing back in 2005. 6.
Some of the early podcasts that I had wires that were literally strapping me into the chair.
We would have had 2 computers,
2 mixers.
How do we do mix minus? Yeah, it was the whole. Yeah, people had diagrams for how they did mix minus. It's ridiculous.
It was a lot of fun, and then just when we started streaming too, so a lot of advancement.
I'm getting tired and exhausted just thinking about all the work we did.
It's amazing we did it twice a week. That's the amazing part.
And we're still doing it.
Going.
Well, no, not twice a week, but yeah.
All right, we've got some feedback. We asked a question of the week last week. We did not get any email or voicemails from anybody that I could find in the library, but we do have a question of the week. So let's not play that music. Let's play this music. There we go. Now, Kreg doesn't have any comments.
Whatever.
What I do, you can read the Technorama ones.
All right.
There we go.
Those letters. I love those letters.
Let's find out what you got to say, oh boy.
Mailman, mail today.
All right, I'm going to begin because I've got 3 and you've got 2, so that'll work out well.
All right.
Our question of the week last week was, if you were an element on the periodic table, which element would it be? Which element on the periodic table represents you the best? So I'm going to start with Gary Lindros, good friend of the show, says BR for bromine, but no explanation why.
No explanation why. Our buddy Steve London, Steve. I keep wanting to say Stu. I know it's not right.
Sweet Steve
London. Yeah, Sweet Steve. He says lithium. He says, poke a hole in me and I'll explode like a lithium battery.
I like the logic in that one.
Yes, right.
Eric Miller says CR, which is chromium, because I make things yellow or green.
Which is coincidentally the browser we're using here.
Chromium?
Chromium. Yeah.
Chromium.
Anyway, John Miller Jr. said Krypton, and he said he wonders why. And there's a confused looking Superman gif.
Very nice.
He's hearing Jor-El or something. What?
I saved this one for the last. This one is my favorite. Jack Mangan says manganese, of course. Where is it? He has to have the sad trauma.
Yeah.
How long has he been waiting to use that joke?
Yeah. I'll put this in my pocket. It'll be useful one day.
Oh, darn. I had to spend that card on Technorama.
I know. Yeah.
Kreg, what was your element? I don't think we talked about this last week.
Oh, crap. And I had one in mind.
I had one as well, and I lost it twice, but I do remember it now.
What was yours?
Magnesium.
Okay.
You
And
must
why?
buy. OMG.
OMG.
Yes, I spent that card on Technorama too.
Well, I can't remember what it was. Oh well.
Go
Oh.
look up the periodic table or something while we play the outro
Oh,
music. You can tell me later.
I'm sorry. I think I was gonna go with helium. Only because I like inhaling it, and it changes your voice.
Why do you want to do helium?
Yeah, because I'm a breath of fresh air.
No, you're higher than a kite. That's it. We will give you another question at the end of the show. Stick around. What do you say we go right into?
By the way, I was going to go into vibranium, but anyway.
No. Plutonium? Unobtainium?
Yeah, unobtainium.
All these fictional movie things.
That's what Mike Robinson just said.
Did he say? Yep, there it is. We got it.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Yeah. He also gave us a big ouch. Okay, let's get on with the history. We have history, right?
Yes.
We used to have history, but we forgot it all. On this day in history for October 6th, 2021, this is the 279th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are just 86 days. Woohoo! Christmas shopping time!
Oh boy.
It was on this date in 1927 that saw the opening of The Jazz Singer. It was the first prominent talkie movie.
Talkie. I always thought that was funny the way they describe it. Talkie.
Is this a talkie podcast?
Sure. Yeah. Why not? 44 years ago today, the first prototype of the Mikian MiG-29, designated 901, made its maiden flight.
And it was on that same date in 1995 that the first planet orbiting another sun, 51 Pegasi b, was discovered. And we have some more planetary news later in the show.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. And October 6, 2007, Jason Lewis completed the first human-powered circumnavigation of the Earth.
No, thank you. Sorry. Because the first guy to row across the Atlantic was in 1969. I know this because I do a similar history segment on the karaoke, Saturday Night Karaoke. Took him 180 days to row across the Atlantic. No, thank you. Yeah. And what do you got to show for it?
Some for good shoulders.
Is he on talk shows? Is he making royalties out of commercials these days?
No, just because it was there, he had to do it.
Hi, I'm Jason Lewis for this canoe company.
This canoe, right?
All right, that same date in 2010, Instagram, a mainstream photo sharing application, was founded. Stick with Flickr. Happy birthday goes out in the state to German navigator and geographer Martin Behaim, born on this date in 1459. Oh, we got some dandy names today. So,
oh, great.
Buckle up. Part of the show. Yeah.
All right. Born October 6th, 1846, American engineer and businessman founded the Westinghouse Air Brake Company. His name was George Westinghouse.
George Air Brake.
George founded.
Canadian engineer and academic invented radio telephony, Reginald Fessenden. There you go. Invented radio telephony. Reginald Fessenden. He was born 155 years ago today.
And Meghnad, I guess that's how you Saha, the Indian astrophysicist, astronomer, and academic, was born 128 years ago today.
Oh, 80 hex.
Yeah.
Irish physicist and academic Nobel Prize laureate Ernst Walton was born on this date in 1903.
And Sergei Sobolev, Russian mathematician and academic, was born on the same date in 1908.
Here we go. This is where it gets fun. Italian automobile designer Orazio Satapuliga was born 111 years ago today.
And Riccardo Guiccioni, the Italian-American astrophysicist and astronomer, Nobel Prize laureate, was born 90 years ago today.
Nikolai, come on, scroll for me. Nikolai Chernykh the Russian astronomer. Everybody remembers him, right? From
Yeah.
grade school. He was born today in 1931.
An American computer scientist and academic, Sheila Greibach, is 82 today.
My mixer profile just disappeared. What happened? Did we get disconnected?
No, I'm right here.
No, I know, but my iPad just decided it wasn't going to play along. I need the
Oh.
volume back up in a little bit. American singer, songwriter, guitarist, producer Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon was born in the state in 1951.
And also born on that same date in 1978, Chinese astronaut Liu Yang. Liu. What's that?
Liu Yang.
Liu Yang. There you go. I was close.
It's listening for the wrong IP address. What's wrong with this thing? Oh, no, it's not. Uh-oh. I'm not able to connect with the iPad. This is going to be an interesting show.
Yeah.
Listener birthdays this week include October 6th, John Dernholt, Itsuko Rumki on the 9th. Also on the 9th, Mario from New Jersey. We have 2 birthdays on the 10th. Good friend and podcaster, former podcaster, Victor Cahiao. Also helped me get this mixer up and running. Oh, there we go. It's connected. Hooray.
Yeah, he fixed it.
Thanks, Victor. Garrett Rafal is also on the 10th. And oh, how I miss Bruce Barr.
That's right.
On October 11th. Wish we still heard from Bruce Barr. Maybe he's out there listening. We don't know. Hope everything is safe and cool. If you want to be on the birthday calendar, I got a ticker for you. Let me go to Banner's birthday calendar. There we go. Get on the birthday calendar, just like it says on the bottom of the screen if you're watching us live. chuckchat.com/birthday. If you're listening to us, let me repeat that for you. chuckchat.com/birthday. It's about that difficult. Go get there. We'll give you a shout out at the appropriate time of year. That's the way it was on this day in history for February 17th, 2021.
Yay.
Bring those guys back up, fade them out, and let them go on their merry way. Well, we jump into some news, which we have. Random blue button.
Good news, everyone!
That'll do. So first story up is that AI can now predict if it will rain in 2 hours' time. And you might be first going, so what? I mean, we can do a pretty good prediction if it's going to rain tomorrow.
I got an app that does that.
Further out. But it's not as easy when you're in really tight. If you're getting one of those alerts that says rain predicted in your location in 15 minutes.
That's right. I use AccuWeather on my phone, and it does that.
Very handy. And the reason is because you can actually save lives, because with global warming and extreme weather conditions, flash floods, flooded roads, fires, whatever it is, that weather forecast can change hour to hour. It's one thing to say there's an 80% chance of rain tomorrow. It's another thing to say you're going to get rained on in 30 minutes or in just a few hours. So they're using AI in this way to do this prediction. This is
if we could just predict civil unrest and riots in the area, that'd be great too.
Save lives that way.
Yeah,
there's going to be a riot in your neighborhood in the next 2 hours.
Leave.
So the scientists at Google-owned London AI lab DeepMind and University of Exeter partnered with the Met Office to build a so-called nowcasting system. And the system learned how to identify these common patterns of rainfall based on UK radar maps from 2016 to 2018. And then they tested them on maps of 2019 and found that 50 Met Office meteorologists, they found them to be accurate in 89% of the cases, which I think is pretty darn amazing.
It is pretty good.
I like seeing AI used in this way.
Yeah.
It's more fun than which one of these is a picture of a cat.
There you go. Mike Robeson says it can change in Iowa in a minute.
Yes.
That's what they say.
Weather, stick around a few minutes.
Yeah, that's what they say here. It's like, if you don't like the weather, wait about 10 minutes.
I'll put that banner away. There you go. So that is our first story. Any comments about that? AI, weather, let us know.
No, I think it's pretty cool, actually, being able to predict something like, I mean, I don't know, I guess hurricanes you can kind of see coming, but tornadoes. That'd be another big.
Comets. Oh, wait, that's the next story.
Yeah, what a segue.
We're working on it, people. We're working on it. We don't just want to read articles to you.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if you haven't noticed, we're trying to get away from that a little bit. But there is a huge comet coming, barreling towards the solar system. There's a
Yeah.
massive- yeah. So, well, I'm sure there's a million of them. I don't know.
The name of this thing, I love the name of this thing. Bernardinelli Bernstein.
It's like a type of car or something. No,
This thing has it's named after the discoverers like Shoemaker Levy 9, the
Yeah.
one that crashed into Jupiter.
right.
This thing has some crazy stats about it, though, because
Yeah.
it's as big as a small planet or a planetoid or a planetesimal, if you
Well,
prefer.
well, actually, what they said was they mistook it for a dwarf planet.
Yeah, it came from the Oort cloud, which is way out past Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
It's 60 to 120 miles across, which is about 1,000 times larger than your standard comet.
Right.
So, and it wasn't until they started seeing a tail on this thing. Now, get this. Its journey began about 40,000 AU from the sun. Now, an AU is the distance from Earth to the sun, 93 million miles, or what does
Right.
that turn out to be? 300 million kilometers? Something like that. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember
I
the
don't
exact
remember either.
kilometers. No, it's 300,000 kilometers a second is the speed of light. I'll figure it out one of these days. But it also, the age of this thing is stupid old. It's like, where was the age on this? It's like a couple of billion years since millions of years since it
Well,
actually went past.
It says it hasn't visited our solar system in about 3 million years.
That's what it was. 3 million. I
So
don't.
it's been around a lot longer than that.
I thought the Oort cloud was part of our solar system
Wait a minute. How would they know?
because of the
Math?
elliptical orbit it's got. Now we're not in any. If you know where its path is now, you can calculate where it's going to go and where it came from, which will
Okay.
tell you what that loop looks like and how long based on how fast it's going. So yeah, they can figure that out.
Yeah.
They discovered it about 6 years ago without a tail or the coma as it's called.
I guess you start seeing that when it gets closer to a sun or
Yeah.
some other
Now
kind of.
we are not in any danger of being smashed to smithereens
Aw.
from this thing because it's close. It will pass the sun, and at its closest in 2031, in 10 years, it will be 10.71 AU, which is just beyond the orbit of Saturn, which is kind of weird. I don't know if it's going to go zinging past us out to Saturn. If that's the closest it's going to get, we may not get a very spectacular show. I think this would be so freaking cool if it got a little closer and had a tail. This thing is 1,000 times bigger than a regular comet. Imagine if you could see this in the daytime.
I bet you would be able to see this with a telescope at some point.
Maybe if it's bright enough. I mean, think about it. You can't see the rings of Saturn without good binoculars or a telescope. So
Right. That's what I was saying. With a telescope, you should be able to see it.
maybe. I look forward to seeing some pictures, but this would just be so awesome if it. Hey, I only have to make it to my mid-60s to see this.
Where's my telescope?
Got it. We'll bring you the story on Technorama in 10 years.
Yeah, wait for it, kids.
Imagine what we'll be doing for live streaming then. It'll be 3D in your house, right in your glasses. You can watch us anytime.
Hey, if you want to see this story, but then keep listening, subscribe, like us, and comment.
And keep paying the Patreon. Join us as a patron. We can't afford to stream if you're not supporting the show.
That's right.
That was a big bag.
Yeah.
We have another story from scitechdaily.com.
Yeah, we do. Another astronomy story.
We like our astronomy stories.
Yeah, I thought this one was really cool. It says that astronomers, have discovered the first known planet to orbit 3 stars. Take that, Luke.
Well, not quite that way.
All right, so it's only 1,300 light years away, so not that far. relatively speaking. They think they found the first planet that orbits 3 stars, and they believe that, which this was kind of startling. They said that researchers believe that more than about half of the star systems in our galaxy
Yep.
have multiple stars.
Yeah, they're either binary or trinary or even, I don't know what you call it.
Well, I didn't realize that there was that many, but that's
I
pretty
thought
cool.
it was actually more. I thought that single star systems were in the minority, but I didn't know it was about 50-50 for single and multiples. So that one was news to me. This star system is 1,300 light years away from us, though. I mean, if you think about it, our closest star is 4 light years away. So it's pretty far out there. And we are seeing this stuff as it happened 1,300 years ago.
Right.
Speed of light, that kind of thing. They call the 3-star systems circumtriple. I just think that's a fun word to say.
Actually,
Good band name.
I looked it up. What was it? I had one. Was it Google? Somebody pronounced it, and it said circumtriple. I mean, they didn't. That's not the way they pronounced it. I was trying to remember. It's
circumtriple.
Yeah, circumtriple. Well, what's funny is if you see it, you see that word with a P in one spot, and the rest of the article is not. Somebody made a typo. Guess what it was? I tried to get Google to. I was trying to figure out what that was, and it said circumtriple, and it tried to pronounce it with the P. Anyway, I thought it was funny.
Mike Robinson said, "Have they started any plans to clone Bruce Willis to save us?" from the
Speaking of which, that's the next story we're talking.
That was the comet that's about to smash into us.
Yeah, that's the next story we're talking about.
So, planet with 3 stars means no nighttime. Not necessarily. Depends how you're rotating and the positions of the stars. If they all happen to be on one side of you, well, then when you rotate your,
I bet it could bake some planets that don't, they do get in that position where it gets hot.
Oh, I'll bet. Yeah. If you watch one of those Riddick movies, the way they discovered this is with the ALMA, the Atacama Large Millimeter Submillimeter Array, which is, I believe, out on the Atacama Desert down in South America. And they discovered this forming star system. It's not fully baked yet. So what you've got is some bright masses that are stars that are either just ignited or ready to ignite. And then they've got this gap in the throes of all this. And they went, that's odd, because the only thing that should potentially cause that is like a big gas giant like Jupiter kind of sucking up all the gas and dust in its orbit. So they don't actually see the planet yet, but they've made a model of it, and they said that pretty well explains how that happened. And then once you get the large gas giants, then later you would get your smaller terrestrial Earth, Venus, Mars kind of planet, the rocky ones.
Right.
That's the going theory today. So interesting stuff how they discover this.
Yeah, I always think about how do they figure this out, because you'd have to observe it for a while, I would imagine, especially when they find planets, because they have to look for the wobble and all that kind of stuff from the sun or the star that they're looking at, and it takes a while to kind of detect that. Like, we can't find an extra planet in our solar system, or
they're not looking at the wobble necessarily on this one. It was more that gap.
No, I was just talking in general, having to watch something for a long time to try and figure it out, find out what they're looking at.
There's different methods you can use to detect planets, extrasolar planets as well. The wobble effect is just one of them. There's also the light dipping down when a planet occludes or passes in front of or transits a star. So
now, what else impresses me is when they observe the light coming from that object to determine what kind of atmosphere it has. We've seen that some, where they're starting to identify what kind of. I had that up a second ago, looking for baked planets.
Baked planets like baked asteroids. Baked Alaska.
That's right.
Okay, we also have another article. Oh, wait, we switched topics, didn't we? I wasn't even paying attention to the show notes.
I know.
We got the end of the news.
Yeah, we got to make some adjustments here.
You got to make some adjustments. So shout out to the chat room. So let's give a shout out. We do this show on Sunday nights. If you want to join us, let's see. Do I have a banner or a ticker for something like that? Let's find out. You can join us there. Join us live Sundays at 9:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Central Pacific, Pacific, or whatever it is in your neighborhood. Maybe you're up early in the Australia. I don't know what that would be. Monday morning in Australia.
Yeah.
So we do this on Facebook and YouTube live, or you can catch the podcast when it comes out on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, whatever your schedule happens to do. You can get notified and informed on our Facebook page. So you go over to facebook.com/Technorama podcast. We're over there. And who do we have? We have in the comments. We're just scanning the comments. Hey, maybe we won't get skipped comments this time. Mike Robeson, John Miller Jr. have been our vocal ones this evening. Don't see anybody commenting in from YouTube, but thank you everybody for joining us. And we would love to see you. I don't know what's going on tonight. Maybe it's the Grammys again, or always some award. Just Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Who knows? So we're always here, or you can catch us.
Yeah.
Like, go.
I do have to say this is much better than trying to watch just the Facebook chat. That Facebook chat's stupid.
I agree. It seems to be a little faster too. They come into StreamYard faster than they come into Facebook, which is really
Oh,
odd.
really? Okay.
Yeah. So let me get rid of that banner, and we are going to go to our Remember When segment, because we are remembering the wise old man himself. What, again? Connect?
Yeah.
There we go.
Einstein and his seven ways to be productive. No, that's the
7 effective habits of Albert Einstein. How to win planets and influence asteroids.
Yeah. That's right.
We're really mixing this up good.
Yeah.
So an article from livescience.com gave us 7 things that Albert Einstein, I don't know if he predicted, we'll let you decide.
Influenced for sure.
Like,
how about that?
well, in some cases it was set the seeds for ideas. He didn't like, we'll start out with number 1, space-time. Okay, when he was 26, he came up with the theory of special relativity. It was called this because it deals with the relative motion in the special case where gravitational forces are neglected. Okay, that's pretty special. I don't know where that actually happens, but it may sound innocuous, but it was one of the greatest scientific revolutions in history, completely changing the way physicists think about space and time. It's that you can't have space without time, you can't have time without space, and it warps, and that led to things like well, we'll get to black holes in a bit, but it impacts a lot of the other stuff.
Right.
It also set the rules for the speed of light. He said, and that comes up in the next one, actually. But the speed of light, of course, if you're using the imperial system, is 186,000 miles per second, or as I said earlier, 300,000 kilometers per second. Woohoo! Yeah. Got that one. I can remember a couple of things in both numbering systems.
And here's the one that you had a little thing about was lasers.
No. The second one was E equals MC squared.
Right. Okay. Yes, I'm looking at that. I was talking about, no, I had space-time equals MC squared, then lasers.
Well, don't skip over E equals MC squared. That's his most famous thing, probably. So it was actually an offshoot of the special relativity thing. He wanted to say that energy and mass are equivalent, but you have to get the mass sped up to the speed of light squared, which is a whole lot of stuff to get that energy. And this comes out in things like the atomic bomb, which we'll talk about later. So he says his equation, as it says in the article, says that mass and energy are essentially the same thing as long as you multiply the mass by c squared, or the square of the speed of light, which is a very, very big number.
That's right.
So it's a big amount of energy. But it also says that you don't need much mass to produce a lot of energy. I thought that was really mind blowing when you start putting some numbers around this and go, well, and if you wanted to make mass, it would take a whole lot of energy to make mass. So think about the science fiction stuff about transporters.
Right.
Converting
Yeah.
mass to energy and energy to mass.
Yeah.
Ooh, howdy. You could really, with just
I
like
just don't want the
a
parity to break when I'm using the transporter.
sesame seed, and you could detonate a planet, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Nuke it from space. All right, the other one that you mentioned was lasers. And we're all familiar with lasers, everything from scanning barcodes to fiber optic communication. There's just a
Or
lot of stuff going on right now.
or even there's autofocus on your phone. Laser autofocus on some phones.
On some,
so
a lot of them tend to be like UV or
No, I know, but there is a on some phones they do offer a laser autofocus, which is
Now, the interesting thing about lasers is they were developed. The word laser came out in 1959, and I'm checking the facts here real quick. Einstein passed away in 1955, so
That's right.
4 years before the word laser. It's actually an acronym that stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Of course, all the science nerds knew that, and it's a concept developed by Einstein about 40 years before that. They say that in 1917, according to the American Physical Society, he wrote a paper on the quantum theory of radiation that described, among other things, how a photon of light passing through a substance could stimulate the emission of further photons. Okay, I won't do that again.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's one of his ideas that is connected. It's almost like Nostradamus at this point.
Yeah. It's like he
it's
started writing this and he went, I'll let somebody else figure that out.
Yeah, a lot of theories, and smart guy. No, I'm not dissing him at all, but it seems like they're sort of attaching some of these things to what he wrote. And I'm curious to know, were there other scientists that had similar ideas or theories or whatever? So that's kind of where I was going.
Yeah.
The other one that I thought was interesting was black holes and wormholes.
Yes.
Now, I'm sure many of you have already heard that, hey, Einstein predicted black holes long, long time ago, and Stephen Hawking came up with Hawking radiation, da 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 da. Well, it was actually Einstein's theory of special relativity that showed, remember when we were talking about space-time, it can do some pretty weird things, even in the absence of gravitational fields, but that was only the tip of the iceberg. As he discovered when he finally succeeded in adding gravity into the mix, the theory of general relativity. And he found that these big, massive objects like planets and stars actually distort the fabric of space-time. And it's this distortion that produces what we call gravity. Okay, that was what I got out of space-time. But again, I can't hook all his theories together.
Well, actually, I'm, as he's trying to figure this stuff out, all right, what is he going on? Because is he just sitting there in a room pondering this in his head? Or
well, the story,
the stuff's not written down. He's writing it. So how do you come up with these theories? And how do you?
The story I heard when he was a patent clerk in, was it Austria? In his younger years, he started pondering some of this stuff. He was on, what was it, the tramway on the car, and he was looking at the clock tower. This might be another Newton and the falling apple fable, but he was on the electric trolley, tram, bus, whatever it was, and he was moving away from the clock tower. And he said, wait a minute, am I perceiving the time on that clock as the same as somebody who's actually at the clock?
Yeah,
or is there
still
a lag or a latency? Because he must have known, like, sound takes time to travel, so maybe light takes time to travel. And if light takes time to travel, what does that mean if you start speeding this up to ludicrous speed? not to quote Spaceballs, but
Let's go plaid.
if you go past plaid to ludicrous speed, you will encounter some very strange effects indeed. But just don't go from ludicrous speed to stop. Okay, we can't stop. We have to slow down first.
We can't stop. You won't stop. To quote the Beastie Boys.
We are all over the map. We've gone from Einstein to the Beastie Boys somehow on this show. What do you think of the new format, kids?
Yeah.
Let us know. Contact us on the listener line. I should roll that banner right now just so they can go, oh, I got something
Yeah.
for you. Send us an email, technorama@chuckchat.com, or call us on the listener line, 707-530-2428. There,
Hey,
had to stick that plug in there.
Yeah. So when we're talking about the black holes and the wormholes, one of the things I thought was interesting was he had worked in collaboration with Nathan Rosen, and they described the possibility of shortcuts, as we were talking about wormholes in this title, was a shortcut from one point in space to another. And they originally called it the Einstein-Rosen bridge, which isn't that what they called it in Thor? I think it was the Einstein-Rosen bridge.
That was the Bifrost.
No, but in science they were describing it on Earth as the Einstein-Rosen bridge.
Oh, so you've heard this in a Marvel movie and consider it science.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Anyway,
what I am saying is that they do have very smart science people on these shows, so that when you start talking to the nerds, they don't call you out anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a kernel of truth there. I'm just saying. No, I was just saying that they were referring to it, and then of course they said they call it the Bifrost and Asgard. Anyway, you can say they called it wormholes. That's basically what everybody refers to them now.
He also had some early thoughts on the expanding universe. This was before Edwin Hubble actually observed it. So one of the first things he did with his wonderful equations of general relativity was to apply them to the universe as a whole. But he came up against something interesting, because common sense told him that the distances between galaxies couldn't possibly be expanding. So he added something called the cosmological constant to his equations.
Otherwise known as the Heisenberg compensator.
Yeah, no. Because he thought that the universe was static. It couldn't be expanding. So he kind of put in this fudge factor to make a static universe. But of course, in 1929, Edwin Hubble's observations showed this redshift with the galaxies, which meant they're moving away, and went, hey, look, they're all moving away. What the heck?
And faster.
Einstein considered this his biggest blunder, is what it's quoted as in this article. So wasn't the end of the story, however, because based on more refined measurements of the expansion in the universe, we now know that it's speeding up.
Yeah,
it's not slowing down. So it looks like his blunder wasn't such a blunder after all. The final one, is this the final one? No, we got two more. He was influential in the atomic bomb. Again, E = mc squared definitely plays into this. The link between, it says Einstein is occasionally credited with the invention of nuclear weapons. Nah, I don't think so. They say
not exactly.
His equation E = mc squared, according to the Max Planck Institute for Gravitational Physicists, Einstein's online website. Wow, didn't know Al actually still ran a website. Good for him.
I wouldn't doubt it.
The link between those two is tenuous at best. All of the key ingredients for the physics of nuclear fission is there, but he didn't have any direct involvement with it. So he sort of set up, this is the way it theoretically works with the E = mc squared, but he didn't have anything to do with the Manhattan Project. He wasn't even among the famous physicists who worked on the Manhattan Project. So there you go. Gravitational waves. That was the last one, and I thought this one was a bit, like the atomic bomb. I was like, it seems like they're kind of hitching their wagon to some of these a little early. So, of course, we mentioned that Einstein passed away in 1955, and his scientific legacy continues to make headlines in the 21st century. If you remember a few years ago, in February of 2016, there was an announcement of the discovery of gravitational waves.
Mhm.
This is another consequence of general relativity. The gravitational waves are those tiny little ripples that propagate through the fabric of space-time.
That's what
Uh,
Stephen Hawking was big on. That was his big thing was gravity.
he was big on a lot of stuff. That
Mhm.
guy that guy had a mind that wouldn't quit. What if you got Hawking and Einstein and Newton in the same room? Well, you'd play poker, of
I was
course.
gonna say, well, you got to add data in there.
Right. So, using instruments like the LIGO, the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatories in Hanford,
Mhm.
Washington, and Livingston, Louisiana, they were able to detect these. So, I believe it was two merging black holes or two pulsars smashing into each other, something that set this off. So, a lot of cool stuff that he came up with. That is our Remember When. Wow, we really we're not making the show any shorter with this new format, are we?
No.
But that's all right. We're having a good discussion, and we don't just want to read these articles to you, but we will cite certain specific pieces of it and give you our thoughts on them at the same time. So I'm kind of
Good
liking
luck.
this. All
Yeah.
right, we do have one more for you. Was this the?
Thank
Oh
you,
wait,
Patreons.
is it thank you Patreon time? It is
Yeah.
thank you Patreon
Go back
time.
to the show notes.
I just did. Give me a break. Let's bring that down. Thank you, patrons. It is through your funding and support that we can do this new live streaming format and less risk of things locking up and Chuck tearing his hair out. Special huge thanks to Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Avner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris MC, Dandy Mancoyer. We did lose one patron this past week, so thank you very much for all of your support. If you were a member in the past, we hope that you will eventually come back and support us again for as little as $1 a show. Like Dean Jensen and Denise Inglis, Gary Lindros, John Clifford, John Noble, Yorga Schrauen, Christina, Kyle Nishioka, Leon, Mark Kilfoyle, Mike Wills, Chris Martinez, Saturday Morning Media. Thank you, Grant, Stephen Weshy, Steve Therian, Steve Cody, and sweet Steve London. All of you people are greatly appreciated. You can support us. Let's get the support the show banner going here. There we are. Support the show by going to patreon.com/Technorama podcast. And for, again, as little as $1 a show, not only do you get your name read out on the show with our undying gratitude, appreciation, you also get a special podcast that we record just for the patrons. And if we don't produce, you
Special?
don't pay.
Yeah.
Special, as in
It was-
very special.
Yeah.
Just for you, just for the patrons. And roughly once a year, we send out a postcard with hand-drawn graphics by our own internal artist, Craig Stepp.
Yeah.
I think every one of those was unique. This isn't just a rubber stamp postcard thing with a label with your address on it. So
Yeah.
if you go to patreon.com, be sure to put a little address thing in there for you. We try to put them on the memberships as well. But if you want to get a postcard, make sure we have your latest and greatest address, and we'll send that to you.
That's right.
So whether you are overseas or in the U.S. or wherever, we will get that to you. Do you have any spares left, Craig?
Oh yeah, I got some more.
Okay.
I
So
still got
if
some
you
more.
didn't get one by, let's just say, October 10th, because we know it takes time to get them overseas, because we've exchanged postcards with Yorga a number of times. It usually takes a couple of weeks, and you just sent them out a few days ago as we record this. Make sure you get in contact with us. We want to make sure you get that. All right. I am going to fade that out. Thank you again. Patreon.com/Technorama podcast is where you can find that. And a real quick pass the remote. I did have a dud on my list. And this may come as a surprise to some of you. Yeah. So,
all right, talk about your dud.
Okay. The dud was Squid Game. This is like number 1 on Netflix's top 10. And I believe Lisa referred to it. Is this the one that broke the internet in Korea? I'm like,
yeah, this is supposed to be pretty popular. I've seen it. I've seen Squid Game
Yeah,
around. I
I've
haven't
seen a
seen it.
lot of ads for it. And I thought, I think I'll check it out. So I checked out the first episode. Didn't resonate with me for whatever
Okay.
reason. I thought it was a bit predictable. Uh, I don't know why, but it was. I got through the first episode and I said, I'm really not that interested in seeing any more. There's 9 total. Each episode is about an hour. It is Korean. I don't have any bias towards or against that. It is dubbed into English, and they do. I always watch Netflix with the subtitles on anyway. So
Yeah.
it's very easy to consume, but like any other foreign film that's dubbed, the audio is going to be a little different. If there's 2 people and one is in another room, they sound like
Mhm.
they're right up next to a microphone. Like, yes, be sure you get your sister some dinner tonight. Like, you sound like you're just speaking into a microphone at this point.
Well, yeah.
And that's going to happen. But it really, I don't know. It was gory the first episode. It
What's
was a
it
little
about? Okay,
it
how
was a
about
little
that?
slow
What's it
move on.
about?
Well, the opening scene explains where they came up with the title Squid Game. It was a child's game that this guy used to play
Okay.
on the playground. They had this pattern in the dirt, and there were different zones and defense and offense, and he explained the game. And then the story moves into today, where you learn about this man who is divorced. He gets to see his daughter. He's not really what you call a winner. He's living with his mom. Uh, he's got a gambling. He's a gambling addict. He's racked up tons of debt, and he's got people coming after him who want to like pay me next month or I'll harvest your kidneys, kind of stuff.
Why? Whoa.
So he encounters this guy in the subway that makes him an offer. He says, "Hey, you want to play a game and earn some money?" And they start playing this game, and he earns some money. And he says, "If you're interested," this guy knows all about him. He says, "You're 42 years old. You're divorced. You've got gambling debt racked up. You were just had an encounter with the mob. You signed away your bodily rights. Now, are you interested?" So he gives him a card. He calls him up, and he says, "Sure." Uh, Gets into this shady-looking van, is gassed and taken to who knows where. Well, later you find out it's an island
Okay.
with an underground facility, and he and about 400 other people are made the same promise. They all have gambling debts. So there's this super secret uber rich dude that's kind of running this, but you never see him because he's always got a mask on, and he pits them to play games. Like the first episode's called Red Light, Green Light. You know, the game where
Yeah.
someone
Right.
has their back to you and they say red light, green light. They say green light, you start moving. They say red light, and if they turn around and catch you moving, you're out.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was kind of silly because they're asking questions before the game starts, and nobody ever thinks to ask. They said, "Well, if you win the game, you get all this money, and your gambling debts are paid off," and blah blah blah. And so nobody ever thinks to ask, "Well, what if we lose?"
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like, hey, if I'm going to enter a game, I want
Always
to know the
focused on
stakes both
the
sides.
big thing. Yeah.
Right, and it's probably because they have a gambling problem, all of them. So I thought that was a little suspicious. And then when they're playing red light, green light, if you get spotted moving after they yell red light, you're shot. But they didn't know this at first. And then, of course, once they figure out you get shot, there's a whole panic and everybody's moving and a whole
Yeah.
bunch of people get shot.
Yeah. Whoa,
So,
whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm
yeah,
out.
I told you
tapping out.
it's gruesome. You can't tap out at that point.
Yeah.
You have to cross that finish line in 5 minutes. And if you don't cross the finish line, you're shot. It's like,
Yeah.
it didn't resonate with me. So that was the synopsis of episode 1 of the Squid Game. Maybe
Right.
other people are enjoying this. I'm going to go back to Hulu and just watch old horror movies in what was it? Huluween is what they're calling this.
Oh yeah. I did. Hey, by the way, Netflix is doing this thing on YouTube with Elvira. She is I had to pull it up. It's on YouTube.
How old is that woman?
She's 68.
Dang.
Sandra Peterson. Let's see, I'll tell you real quick.
Because she's been doing that
70.
gig.
I'm sorry. She's 70.
She's been doing that gig for 40 years.
So anyway, she's doing this Netflix and chills thing on YouTube, on their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And it's kind of entertaining. She's Dr. Elvira, and she's explaining why it's good to watch horror films and stuff because for your health. Anyway, you have to kind of watch it. It's good. Yeah, she's still got the looks. She's great.
Let's see. We have Mike Robeson says, "Yep, she's still pretty good looking.
There you go. Confirmation.
He's got a thing for older women."
Yeah, she's 70. I looked at that
70.
the other day.
Wow.
Yeah, I looked it up the other day. Because I saw her on the YouTube channel and I went, wait a minute, how old is she? Because I thought she kind of retired from Elvira, but apparently not. I guess Netflix had enough, dough to drag her back out.
What does John say?
All right,
"Do
we
you
need to move
realize in
along.
a few thousand years, Technorama will broadcast out into space." We need a radio transmitter to do that.
That's right.
In a few thousand years, it will still be on the internet.
Well, you know what? We were there was that radio station that was programming podcasts, and I signed us up one time. I don't know if they're still doing that or not.
Well,
I was like, why not?
We don't get any recognition or any money out of it. But
No, they were just playing them on the radio, which I thought was kind of neat.
I know that Ben and Keith are on Krypton Radio,
Yes.
but that's not terrestrial radio. That's internet radio. So
Right.
never know. All right. I don't want to skip over our last article. We have a Star Wars trivia alert. Okay.
So-
Star Wars fans.
Yeah. So anyway, this is mostly it's a video of Nick Maley, who was one of the last guys that worked on Star Wars, at least on some of the things. He was a makeup and special effects artist, and he said that Han in there, not all of Han is in the carbonite,
Yeah.
but it's not just it's his head, it's
and
his
I thought they
hands.
said his hands. Yeah. And maybe his feet.
No, I don't know about his feet, but
Okay.
the idea was, why do you do a full body cast on one of the prominent actors? You don't need to. So he
You don't
enlisted.
want to either.
No, not necessarily. Probably not. But he enlisted his coworker. I had his name on here,
Alan Harris.
and Alan Harris stood in for the body. He was the body double for the Han. But what's
Alan
funny?
Harris also has an iconic role as.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Bosk.
Bosk.
Yeah, he was Bosk, and of course, the green alien bounty hunter.
Looks like a Gorn.
Yeah, it looks like the Gorn. But I told Chuck, I said, hey, that was kind of special because if I'm not mistaken, Bosk was one of the only ones you could get from Kenner for free using the little proof of purchases on the back of the blister packs, and you would send that in. And
So you had
enough of
to buy
them
the
in,
other
you could get
action
Bosk.
figures. You had to buy the other action figures and then send them in to get Bosk.
Yeah, I can't remember how many it was. It was like 2, 3, something like. You had to buy a
And
few, and then you can mail them in, and then you.
500 Malo Cup
No.
or smoothie.
Yeah, it wasn't that many, but yeah, you mail them in, and I got Bosk, and what else did I get? Oh, I know, I ended up I won a contest in a magazine. That's different. I won a contest in a magazine, and I won $20. They mailed it to me, and I got the snow speeder from Hoth.
Did you ever send in the points to the Boyer Company for Malo Cups and smoothies?
No, I never did that.
Oh, see, I couldn't eat smoothies because I'm allergic to peanut butter, but I always ate the Malo Cups.
Right.
And it used to be, originally, they had little coins in there. There was a cardboard card. If you bought a 2-pack. No, you don't need the
Right.
cardboard.
Yeah.
And if you
Right.
don't like coconut, forget the whole Malo Cup thing anyway.
Right.
The coconut gets stuck in your teeth, so you can enjoy it for an afternoon snack. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's like bacon, which reminds me, bacon is now at an all-time high, 40-year high for prices of bacon. That's a
I
little
know.
side news flash just for Technorama. But anyway,
Ridiculous.
originally the Boyer Company would have you send in 500 points because each one of these coins would be a different denomination. You could have a 1 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, 25 cent. And I think they even had 50 cent. And if you saved up 500 points, based on those denominations, and sent it in, they would send you back like a 10-pack of these things. Well, somewhere, I think in the early 80s, they changed that to 500 coins. And I went, oh, no, thank you. You know, because you think about it, if you got a 25 center, you now have to have 25 more coins.
Right.
So I remember the first time I sent that in, they said, you didn't send it enough. I went, what? No, what? It says read the fine print. It's 500 coins now. I'm like, no. You know how
Would
much
they mail it
money
back to
that
you?
would be? I think they sent a letter or something. Like, forget that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I don't think I've had one of those things in 30 years or more.
Go
Maybe
ride your bike down to the convenience store and go buy one.
do they have them anyway? I know they have them, but I don't know. I haven't seen them on any convenience store shelf, or even maybe I'm not looking when I go to the grocery store, probably on purpose.
Yeah. Well, that was the big thing. And when I was a kid, ride down and to the convenience store and find whatever pennies and quarters we could, and we buy the cheap candy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that bubble gum that tastes like wood.
Wood. Okay. I don't know what it was like in Wisconsin, but
Jawbreakers. Jawbreakers were always a good cheap candy. Tootsie Rolls. Tootsie Rolls, I think we had them like 2 cents a piece for the small ones.
Cowtail candy.
Yeah. I
Those are good.
remember the first time my grandfather gave me money to buy candy. He gave me a nickel and said, go get a Hershey's bar, because Hershey's bars were always, I mean, for years, they were a nickel. They just got smaller over the years, but they were always a nickel. And when he gave me that, I didn't have the heart to tell him that they were now, I mean, this, tottering old 70-something-year-old guy, which seemed like
they're $70 now.
No, they were 25 cents.
Right.
And now, that would be like me giving a kid 25 cents and saying, here, go get yourself a candy bar. Like, they're $1.50 now, you cheap.
Actually, turns out he didn't really care. He just wanted you to get out of the house for a little bit. Here, go see a Star War. Here's $1.
A Star. All right, we have reminisced, and this show has gone on for a very long time. We appreciate you giving us your time, whether you are watching live, again with the Star Wars thing, John says.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us, whether you're watching live or listening to the podcast later. We hope you enjoyed the format. We're going to endeavor to do our best to bring you more commentary about the articles. Hershey bars weighed 172 pounds and cost 5 cents and 4 cows. We didn't think anything of the economic or the environmental impact of Hershey's bars back then.
That's right. They
produced more CO2 than a diesel bus.
There you go, Mike Robeson. Never underestimate the power of a childhood sugar rush.
There are some people that love those pixie sticks and the hard candies, the sprees.
I was more of a chocolate kind of guy.
I was more of a chocolate kind of guy too, or Bit-O honey.
However,
maybe that should be our question of the week. What was your favorite childhood candy?
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, we're going to change this one up. We'll save the one we got here, and we're going to tell you what it is. We'll tell you what it is next time. Save that one in the bank. What was your favorite childhood candy? We just called an audible on the field. I love it.
I would say I didn't really like a lot of hard candy, but Jolly Ranchers always had a special spot in my heart. Those things were good, especially the green apple one.
This could get interesting because we could get some from overseas as well. So if you don't think we know what the candy is, I mean, if you just said Smarties, some people will know what Smarties are, but you're going to have to describe them for us so we can interpret them, because I don't want to make any false assumptions.
There you go.
Please let us know. You can get a hold of us on the listener line, 707-530-2428. Send us an email, technorama@chuckchat.com, or put your comments on Facebook, and we will have this on the social medias next weekend. So what would that be, the 9th of October? You should be seeing this pop up from Technorama or Kreg or me. So that's going to take us to the end. I want to play this music on this channel. Here we go. Let's get our start and get out of here. Thank you, everybody. Once again, please stay safe. Call us on the listener line again, 707-530-2428. Hope you enjoyed what you see on StreamYard. Thank you once again to Joe Fiore for introducing us to this.
Yeah.
And
Oh, you can find Joe over at the Mega Podtastic. Excuse me. That's what I'm starting to mess up.
keep
I
wearing
started,
those pajamas. Yep.
yeah, I started to say his old show name. Mega Podtastic. You can go find him.
If
I'll put
you're
a link to it in the
new-
show notes.
We'll even give them the desk bell. If you're new to this show, you can find us at chuckchat.com. Click on the Technorama icon, and that will take you to previous episodes, whatever. Subscribe, share, tell a friend, follow on Spotify. You know what to do. It's all the same social nonsense everywhere. Until next time, Craig, give us a binary high five.
All right. 101, everybody.
Hey, everybody, be safe. Okay, stopped the audio recording. Waiting for it. I want to watch what happens to the mixer. Yay, the USB light went out. I think that means it's saved. All right. So thank you, everybody. We are going to turn off the StreamYard now, or stop the broadcast, and Craig and I are going to record the Patreon show.
That's right.
So I have a starting topic for us this week. So again, we will see you again next week at 6:30 Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern time, whatever that happens to be in your neighborhood. And until then, we've been broadcasting for just over an hour. So that worked out well. Oh, putting Mega Podtastic in the show notes. Thank you very much, everybody. Again, take care. Stay safe. We'll talk to you again. Bye.
Bye.